my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime and bad mistakes. Yes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. Ooh, we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, for we are the champions of the world. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Great Carton Show. My main man, loser number one, Tyrone A. Johnson over there in the corner. The New York Knickerbockers on Saturday night became NBA champions and set the world on fire. Good morning, Tyrone. How are you today, kid?
Good morning. Happy Monday. And I have to say congratulations to all the Knicks fans out there, the millions of fans. You guys have been through a lot. You deserve it.
Look how classy you are. And let me tell you something. I didn't expect that, but I appreciate it from you today. It's kind of how you felt when the Eagles won that first Super Bowl. After years and years and years of trying and trying. And it's almost like, I assume you experienced this like I did on Saturday night. You almost don't know how to react to it. Outside of the obvious joy and emotions you have, that something you never thought was going to happen happened. It's almost like a pinch myself moment. Did that really just happen? It was obviously weird being Saturday night, not last night, for us coming here today. I was also somewhat divorced from all the energy and action of it. I watched it out in L.A. As opposed to watching it here in New York, but just awesome. Awesome. And the dynasty is now officially underway. We can. There's a lot of skeletons that now are getting officially buried. Number one, the notion that Jim Dolan's a bad owner. Cross that off your list.
Yep.
Jim Dolan is now the best owner currently in New York City. And you can't argue that because he just won a championship.
No, in New York, for sure.
He's the greatest owner in New York City today.
Yes.
I'm not saying of all time. Today, Jim Dolan is the best owner in New York. He was at the UFC event last night at the White House, sitting front row, rocking the same exact outfit he wore for games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 throughout the entire postseason. And now all the national media folks who did not believe in Jalen Brunson when the Knicks acquired him back in 2022, all the national media folks that said steadfastly that the Knicks were not a championship team, that couldn't win, all the folks in Vegas that set the lines to try to tell you which team has a better shot of winning, you can all suck it. You can all go on your TV shows today and you can pivot now and talk about how great Jalen is and what a great team this is and what a great job that Mike Brown did with this team. And that's all factual, but you've all lost credibility. And I know today's story is not about what members of the media had to say, but it's kind of always been a part of the story. Because nobody gave this team a chance. Nobody gave the franchise a chance. And nobody thought that Jalen Brunson was what he turned out to be. And shame on those of you that didn't see it. You know, we talk a lot on shows like this about having a championship pedigree, right? There's a lot of great players. Always have been a lot of great players. But when it's all said and done, what separates the great players from the all-time greats, right? And it's championships. You and I sing here all the time, legacy.
Legacy.
Well, we had two legacies get created. Yeah. There's the legacy of Jalen Brunson being a champion at every step of the way. As a young kid, AAU, in high school,
state title.
He was Mr. Basketball Illinois, winning 2 championships with Mikal Bridges. Hart was a part of one of them at Villanova, and now obviously winning an NBA championship. That's his legacy. He's a winner. He's a champion. We'll get to where he stands now in the pantheon of current NBA players and all-time players a little bit later on in the show. And you're not going to be surprised, I think, where I put him, but we'll see if Tyrone agrees with it or not. But while he's a winner and he's a champion, the future face of the league is the exact opposite. Wemby, while a great player and a difference maker defensively in a manner I don't think I've ever seen, is a loser. Period. Stop. He's a dirty, filthy player. He has no class whatsoever. He's the future of the league because of his basketball talent, for sure. I'm not going to diminish what that kid's ultimately going to do. He'll probably go down when it's all said and done without injury as the greatest defensive player the league has ever seen.
Yeah.
And he has a chance to be a dominant offensive force as well. But he's out of shape. He was winded in the fourth quarter of virtually every game in the finals. Maybe not so much getting to the finals, but in the finals, he appeared to be winded to me. He's classless. He's dirty. He tried to hurt OG, going after his knee, as you remember in Game 4.
I don't believe that one.
He went after Jalen Brunson physically multiple times, and put his foot in the landing area, and Jalen could have broken his ankle there. He's a dirty, dirty player. But more so than that, he lacks currently the clutch gene. I suppose you can find it.
Shaq did.
But right now, he doesn't have the clutch gene, and he's probably home in France regretting the fact that he's a loser. But that's what you are, Wemby. Right now, great player, will be a great player, but the narrative about you, my friend, you're a dirty loser with no class. But the story today is not about you. The story today is about the greatness of Jalen Brunson and this Knicks team that did something I still can't wrap my head around. They are NBA champion.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Not losers, winners.
Winners, absolutely.
And as I've said many times, Tyrone, there are winners and losers.
Yeah, and I don't need Ethan pointing at me.
The Knicks are winners.
They're winners.
The the Spurs, losers.
They are. And credit to the Knicks once again for what they did, and credit to Brunson. But before this first segment, and we have to, of course, thank one of our wonderful sponsors in just a moment. Hey, Mitch Johnson and De'Aaron Fox, did you guys bet on the Knicks? Because I don't like to just throw that out there, but your coaching and your performance, De'Aaron Fox, looks like you had money on the Knicks.
Which he's saying jokingly. But De'Aaron Fox there in that fourth quarter, one possession game, under 3 minutes to go, took 3 shots.
I mean,
brick, and another brick. With the game on the line, one possession game, 3 straight shots on 3 possessions, a brick house. And De'Aaron Fox is the same guy, that got Mike Brown fired
in Sacramento.
When Mike Brown said, I need more from you.
Yeah.
I expect more from you. You know what? Sit your ass down.
Right.
And the owner chose De'Aaron Fox, who then traded, of course, to the Spurs over Mike Brown. So the very guy that got Mike Brown fired is the same guy that delivered a championship to Mike Brown. We got lots more to talk about. Let me tell you about losing weight, everybody. You want to be as thin as Wemby? Do what I did. Take lean weight loss. That's right. Our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition. You've heard a lot about the shots and the pills and this and that for fat people trying to lose weight. But when you lose that kind of weight, you don't look that good, Ethan. In any event, take lean, not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose, and it does not require an injection. We're going to get you started right now, 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Visit takelean.com, enter Carton, my last name just like the box, for your discount. That's promo code Carton. Go to takelean.com. You get 20% off and free rush shipping. All right, coming up, we'll get into the New York side of things. Where does Jalen Brunson now rank amongst the current great players and the all-time great players? We got a parade on Thursday. We'll go over you everything New York-wise, and then we'll pivot to San Antonio. They did the unthinkable in beating the Thunder, and we talked about it when they celebrated that win against the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. They acted like they had won the championship, and that cost them in Game 1 and probably helped cost them the series. So lots of hoops coming up, lots of obnoxious banter from me, and we'll see how long Tyrone and I go without getting into a fight about why New York is now the sports capital of the world. Carton Show. The New York Knicks are NBA champions, parade on Thursday, of course. And when it comes to sports talk online, on podcasts, TV shows, radio, hopefully as you watch and listen along, you can learn how to separate the voices that are worthy of listening to versus the jackasses that just say things for clicks. So let's go all the way back to the start of this series a week and a half ago, when Tyrone and I, and there were some rules, to be fair, about how we made our predictions on the NBA Finals. You weren't allowed to go chalk. You couldn't say Spurs in 7, couldn't say Knicks in 6, and I was not allowed to say Knicks in 4 because that would make me a homer.
Right.
Tyrone could pick anything other than the first two. So let's just go back in time and see how you're now trusted, valued source for NBA talk, which is really, it's always been that case. I just don't brag about it. Like a lot of people, I just do my thing and go home. I'm not looking to get clicks. I get them naturally. I'm not looking for attention. It just comes naturally. But this was what happened a week and a half ago on this show. Let's just see how the predictions went. Go ahead. Someone says Knicks in 6. They're scared. They don't have the balls to say Knicks in 5. They belong on the porch with the dog for protection.
Right, but
Knicks in 5, that's the prediction. Bang. Knicks in 5, that's the prediction. Because not only do I know more basketball than everybody else on the planet, I also have balls to pick what my heart tells me to pick. Knicks in 5. Now, you had Knicks in 7, which is not a bad pick. Wrong, of course, but not a bad pick considering you're a Sixers fan and you thought the Spurs were the new team of the century.
Well,
so all well and good there.
Not just that.
And you haven't seen really, to be fair, it's not your fault. When you watch, average at best, loser basketball for as long as you've watched in Philadelphia, how can one expect you to be able to talk intelligently about the sport? Yeah, that's why you need better players and better teams to be able to break down the great sport of basketball.
No.
Not your fault, by the way. You know I love you.
The punk-ass Spurs had double-digit leads in all 5 games.
That is correct.
If Mitch Johnson had a pulse and De'Aaron Fox wasn't a moron, I would have been completely right about that pick. That's what broke it down. The odds of the Knicks coming back from double digits 5 times in it is somewhere around 289 million to 1 to do what they did.
Yes.
This should have been based on how the games were played, the way they all played out.
Okay.
The Knicks won in 5.
Yeah.
The odds say that's a distant series if you look at the numbers.
And by the way, the Spurs led for 72% of the time from tip to whistle.
Right. They should have, if they're better coached and they're their only veteran that's really in the rotation, knows how to manage a basketball game. They win more. They still lose the series, but
your prediction is closer to mine.
Is closer.
It didn't turn out that way, but I appreciate the attempt there. I guess
I'm breaking down the number.
I guess
that's what I do.
Here's the question, which I think is a fair question to ask, and will be. I think I know your side on it. Obviously, we have not discussed it before the show. I'll give you a choice, A or B. There's no C here, okay?
Yeah.
Do you think the Knicks won the title more so because of A, the Spurs choked, or B, because the Knicks won it?
Well, here's the tough thing. If you're going to just give me those two scenarios,
those two I'm giving you. For the sake of this conversation.
Then the Knicks won it for this reason.
Go ahead.
Because I don't think it's a true choke when you have so many players on the Knicks who go and take it. What I mean is OG still had to, regardless if they boxed him out or not, have the wherewithal to inbounds the ball, track the ball, get that tip. That happened.
Yeah, smart play, right.
Brunson in that game 5, hooking away. As soon as he sees Castle, I don't know why Castle's not on him, don't even get me started. Is it on him? He sees, oh my God, this is my time to shine, and he went and did it. So while I don't think it was a choke, there is another option that I think doomed the Spurs that wasn't choking. I still give credit to the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks deserve a credit. Look, I want to say it's all Knicks. Because the Knicks came up big. They're the best fourth quarter team we've ever seen in the postseason. They're the clutchest team in the fourth quarter we've ever seen. They're probably arguably the worst first quarter team we've ever seen.
It's unbelievable.
In the NBA Finals specifically.
It's unbelievable.
Because obviously they dominated, to get there.
13 points.
But I think the Spurs choked. I do. I think when you have, especially obviously in Game 4, when you have a 29-point lead, I don't care where the game is. You could be on lava.
No, you gotta finish.
That's inexcusable.
Yeah.
To lose that game, whether it's not using timeouts right, whether it's just a lack of veteran presence and just understanding we don't need to hurry shots up. We don't need to take 3-point shots. Part of that's their hubris. They thought the game was over. And the thing about the Spurs, because I do think they choked. The Knicks might have taken it, but the Spurs absolutely choked. is I honestly believe that if you bumped into any member of the Spurs today, starting with Wemby, that they actually, and by the way, this is not unique to them, because the Cavs said it, to a lesser extent, the Sixers said it.
No, Sixers didn't say it.
To be fair.
Sixers did not. They
And
just
Atlanta
lost.
said it. And that is, they all lost the series and felt like they were the better team. Now, it's not a one and done where you can say, man, we didn't show. First time this year, we didn't shoot well. They made every single shot they took. Every single team, the Sixers, I'll be fair, less than the others.
Yeah, they just
but
lost.
walked out of that series either being swept or losing in 5 and felt like we're the better team. Well, I'm having a parade on Thursday. You're not.
Of course not.
So at some point, how about you give the Knicks some credit for stealing it from you, which is what they did.
It's what they did
in this series. Now,
Yeah.
look, they swept the Cavs. What did the Cavs say? We won analytically. Matter of fact, we were the better team. You got swept.
You weren't the better
The
team.
Sixers, I know Embiid missed one of the games. The Sixers are like, the Knicks aren't really that much better than us. They didn't say to the level that Cavs did or that
Maybe
the Spurs
some
are
fans said
saying.
it, players did.
But there's nothing worse than a bad loser. And the Spurs are bad losers. I'll give you an example of this. And again, it means nothing at all to the future of the NBA or the future of the Spurs or whatever success they might have. When the game ended,
Yeah.
Mitch Johnson, to his credit, and he had a terrible series coaching. I'm with you 100%
He was terrible.
with everything you've said about Mitch Johnson. Mike Brown ran coaching circles around him
Yep.
in big spots, right? Jalen Brunson, because he's classy, shakes Mitchell Johnson's hand. Mitchell Johnson came over to shake Mike Brown's hand.
Yeah.
All good with that. That's the way it should be. Did you see your boy?
Yeah.
Did you see what Wemby did?
He pulled Isaiah Thomas.
Exactly right.
He pulled Isaiah
Wemby
Thomas.
walked right off the court,
Yep.
didn't shake anybody's hand.
Yeah.
Now, I know big picture doesn't mean a damn thing, but
And he's embracing being the villain.
that followed Isaiah Thomas for the rest of his career to this day.
Yep.
People remember when he told the Pistons, everybody off the floor,
Yep.
we're not shaking hands.
When the Bulls beat them.
Which
Yep.
was douchey, obviously, right?
Yep.
And Wemby did the same exact thing.
Yep.
He's an immature bully that
He
has
is.
probably had life pretty easy because of his talent.
Yep.
All of a sudden, for a guy that claimed he was so grateful to have a chance in the NBA after that scary blood clot last year that almost killed him, right?
Yep.
He certainly doesn't act like it. He does not act like a guy grateful to be in the NBA or a guy that has any level of class. That is a classless bully who plays the game dirty. I'm having a parade. You're not. the show. So parade on Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll get some details about that later this afternoon. And we are looking at what is going to be 2 to 3 million people, I think, when it's all said and done. Canyon of Heroes, which is in downtown Manhattan. And it's going to be very interesting to see New Yorkers in the daytime, taking off from work as they should, to go to the parade, considering some of the nonsense we saw in New York afterwards. I will say this. They claim damn near 1 million people throughout the 5 boroughs in different locations were having parties and taking to the streets. When you consider the amount of people that were outside partying, the amount of crime and dumbasses was probably very, very small, like a minute amount.
Yeah, way less than 1%.
Yeah, the problem is that when you see a school bus on fire, because the hooligans that were out there, this has nothing to do with the Knicks, by the way. That's not a Knicks celebration.
No.
That's not Knicks fans enjoying the fact that we win our first title. There are certain people in our society that when you give them the license to be outside and go wild and take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah.
So although I'm showing it to you, that is not indicative of 99.9% of the partying that was happening throughout the 5 boroughs of New York right after the game. Obviously, there's always going to be some fights. People are drinking. There's going to be some vandalism because people just like to vandalize things. Yeah. But I think you're going to have one of the great days in New York City history. Knock on wood, the weather's good, and we're going to have a party the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen. Yeah,
it's going to be the biggest party in not just sports history. It's going to be one of the biggest parties in the history of Earth.
Yes, you're in line.
Level of that kind of party.
Like, and if you work in New York City downtown, tell your boss, peace out.
It's just
See
no
you on
point.
Friday.
There's just no point.
If you are a boss, let your people go.
And going Friday, listen, boss, I see you on Monday. Because I'm going to take off Thursday and then come back Friday. I'm not doing that. I'll see you Monday.
I believe everybody should live the immortal words of Moses, was it not? Let my people go.
First time I heard that, it was at college, and it was like a parody of that.
Let my people go. That was Moses talking to God about the Pharaoh
this was a guy named Mo in college that yelled to the girls, let your boobies show. That's what he did.
They stole that from Moses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They did.
I thought he made that up.
He definitely did not make that up.
Moses stole it from him.
He was using the Torah to try to get girls naked, is what he was doing.
It worked for a couple of them.
In any event, the parade is on Thursday. And now it's time, I think, to talk about Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
Jalen Brunson, and I wonder how many people, I know Draymond Green apologized to him to his face, which, a little too late, but at least
Brunson didn't care either. Brunson was just...
He's like, whatever, dude.
Brunson did not want to hear.
As soon as I turn my back, you're probably going to take more shots of me, right?
Yeah, Brunson did
It was interesting, before I get really in deep on Brunson, which I guess we'll do next segment, it's interesting, though, that when the Knicks lost their first game of the series, the Game 3 loss at home, which they lost by 4 points. I forget the final score.
It was 4 points, though.
It was a 4-point loss. I was on the radio. I came here as well. And it was interesting how everybody started to panic. Not New Yorkers, but the basketball world was like, finally, the Knicks lose a big game. All of a sudden, it was basically a pick of maybe a 2-point spread in Game 4. They showed their weaknesses. This is where the Spurs take over. The Spurs even came out very cocky afterwards saying, we're the better team in this series. We expect to win Game 4 in New York, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, they should have won Game 4 in New York. That series should have been 2-2 going back home, except they're the biggest losers in choke job now in NBA history. It's interesting, though, how people panicked after the Knicks lost only their 3rd entire game of the postseason, and now the final loss of their postseason run. And again, it's indicative of people seem to need a flashy superstar to believe in a team, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson's every bit of superstar as Joker is, as Luka is, as SGA is, as Wemby is, as Giannis is, as KD is. He's just not flashy about it. He's not 6'6". He could blend in with the crowd. At best, he's probably 6'1". They list him at 6'2". He might be 6 foot flat when it's all said and done. He's not the fastest guy on the court. I'm not even sure if he could dunk, to be honest with you, right? Doesn't have the best handle. He's not the best defensive player. But is there anybody else that you would want with the ball in his hands, down a point, down 20 points in the fourth quarter of a game in the entire league right now?
It's only a couple.
And I want you to be honest about it.
Only a couple players.
There's none.
There's only a couple players.
There's nobody else in this league that you want to have the rock in their hands, down a point, 10 seconds to go.
No, there's just a couple. He's right there in that class.
Who would you rather have over him?
SGA.
Stop it now.
I'd rather have SGA.
No, you wouldn't.
He's bigger, so taller to finish don't bother him as much.
SGA's got the same amount of titles as my guy does.
Right.
One.
And my guy's younger.
Guy's the defending
My
champ.
guy's younger.
Your guy's not. We're going to get into this more. We're going to tell you exactly where Brunson stands in the pantheon of today's great players.
The talk has been about sports betting handle being down or flat, right, because of the threat of prediction markets and the growth of them. But we've seen Kalshi actually kind of plateau for the first time in recent memory. Looking at a graphic right now, we've had the spike for the Super Bowl, and then this is usually when things die down. Yes, there's March Madness, but usually sports betting handle kind of goes down over the course of the spring and summer until we get back to football season.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
For Abdul Carter. Hey, son, you want to be a leader? Show up to meetings on time. Don't be late to practice. This guy's sitting there trying to tell me that he's got a problem with Jackson Dart going to a Trump rally when he can't even show up to a meeting on time? And he can't show up to practice and he's late? Dude.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
This is all about headlines, Donnie. If we hear, if that noise gets louder as we get closer, then 45 cents is going to be 65 cents, and that's the repricing we're talking about. I don't need Utah to get them. I need people to think Utah is going to go up and get them, Donnie, and that's how you make money.
Prediction Markets Edge.
Carton show content when it arrives.
Not just that, you also get merch drops, exclusive content, and appearances. So again, one more time, that website is CraigCartonShow.com. Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. There's a great story out there about the Knicks that Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson were telling us after the win. And that is that they have a $20 million rule. And the rule is that once you get to the threshold of making $20 million a season or more, by rule, you have to buy every player on that team for Christmas a really nice, expensive gift.
Oh, that's good.
All right?
That's good rules.
So the guy that was making $20 million this past year was not Jalen Brunson. It was Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
So Mikal Bridges bought, I guess throughout the course of the year, there were 17 guys that were teammates.
Right.
Your guys go up and down, guys get traded.
Yeah,
Like
makes
Alvarado
sense.
comes like that.
Right.
He bought 17 of them Rolexes for Christmas.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So dudes were getting out of like the cold tub and getting treatment and whatnot. And Mikal Bridges said, everybody stay in the trainer's room in the locker room. I'm bringing you guys something for Christmas. And they rolled this big rolling table in.
Yeah.
And there were Rolexes on the table so like Tyler Kolek, all right, who made like $1 million this year.
Got a
He
Rolex.
got a Rolex.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan Clarkson got a Rolex. All right. They all got Rolexes. So Josh Hart looks at Jalen Brunson. He's like, you didn't get anybody anything. And he goes, wasn't making $20 million. But next year I'm going to have to buy everybody a gift.
I like that. Now,
So I am going to institute the same rule here. Once you get to $20 million, you got to buy everybody else a gift for Christmas.
all right.
All right?
Yes.
And I'm going to just show you how kind I'm going to be. I'm going to make our rule not a $20 million rule.
Oh, what is it?
I'm going to make our rule the $1 million rule.
So $1 million
If anybody
rule.
in this room gets paid $1 million to do this podcast, you got to buy everybody else on the staff. It doesn't have to be a Rolex, but a really nice gift. Because right now you guys are getting a Sizzler for Christmas. Like family meal type of thing. I will do a little Secret Santa with a $20 max buy.
Well, that
That's
sounds
where we're
great.
currently at.
That's where we're currently at. But we'll get there.
Okay,
We'll get
just put it
there.
out there.
It's growing
You
fast.
get $1 million, I might go Fogo de Chao. I might spring for Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao.
And make it a $50 max for the Secret Santa.
That's pretty good.
But you got to get to $1 million.
$1 million.
Now, one idea that Ethan had was, what if you had all of us together?
Yeah, still won't get to the million. Still won't get to the million.
We're still so far from.
Yeah, won't get to the million.
Sizzler's where it's at.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I put together, and this, look, you could debate it at home. You're going to lose if you have any debate over it. As we stand here in the moment, the 4 best basketball players in the league today. Okay?
All right.
This is a today list. This is not all-time list.
Is this in order or just top 4 period?
I'm going to give it to you 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
But I don't care if you want to change the order, but I think the point of this is these are the 4 guys, and it's not really up for debate.
Okay.
That's the real purpose behind it.
All right.
So if you tell me you think the guy have it 1, 2, or 3, no kickback from me at all.
Okay.
You could change the order. You just can't change the people.
Okay.
That's the rule of this little game here, okay?
Gotcha.
So number 4 on my list is the 2-time reigning MVP of the league, SGA. And the reason he's number 4 is because he's Canadian.
Okay.
All right? And I think I have to reserve the top 3 spots for Americans. Or at least the top spot.
I'm about to say.
The top spot needs to be an American, okay?
Okay. Well,
Number 3, I guess also not an American. He's a 3-time MVP award winner. Should be a 4-time, but we gave one to Joel Embiid to shut him up. And that, of course, is a Joker.
that's not how MVPs work.
That's exactly how that would work.
No, it
was
wasn't.
like, wah,
No.
another white European, wah.
No, what this is.
Wah.
This is all the Knicks fans
another
now
white guy winning
hating
MVP
on
award.
Joel Embiid extra right now, who deserved that MVP.
By the way, Joel Embiid's a great player when he's healthy. He should not have been MVP that year.
Yes, he should. He also is a better
had Joker
defender.
not won the 2 previous ones, he would have won that one.
No, he wouldn't have. But go ahead.
By the way, just to show you I'm fair about it,
Yeah.
and it's not to me a black-white thing, Steve Nash stole both of his MVPs from Kobe Bryant or Shaq.
Oh, no, actually,
to be fair.
one of them, LeBron should have won.
By the way,
if you go back and look, you should probably go look.
probably not.
You should probably go look.
Probably not.
You probably
But in
go
any event,
look.
it's
LeBron
got
was
both
already
ways,
smoking the game.
to be fair. All right, so SGA number 4, Joker number 3.
I'm very interested in 2 and 1.
Number 2.
Yeah.
This is the only one you were to give me pushback on.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for your pushback. Because this guy has never even been to an NBA final, let alone been an MVP. Anthony Edwards is number 3.
He's not number. That's not him. That's not Anthony Edwards.
Second best player.
It's not Anthony Edwards on the thing.
That, by the way, does not look anything like Anthony
That's
Edwards.
because it's not Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
It might supposed to be.
Giannis?
That's Giannis.
But Giannis is not on my list.
He should be.
Okay, I don't know why when I said to the guys Anthony Edwards, they must have heard Giannis.
No, the computer very well may have spit out.
Or maybe we got a bunch of racists downstairs.
All look the same.
Yeah, right?
Is that what they're saying?
It sounds to me like, just pick a black guy.
Anyway, Anthony Edwards is not the number 2 player in all of the league.
That shows Giannis. So you want to put Giannis number 2? I don't.
I can put Giannis close. Yeah, I can put Giannis 2 over Anthony Edwards.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So we got SGA, the 2-time MVP, somehow 4th.
Yeah.
Jokic, you have
I have Anthony Edwards there.
Anthony.
The mountain shows Giannis. I don't know why, but that's what it shows.
Giannis Edwards. 3rd, second.
There you go. There you go.
And now number 1.
And now we're at to number 1.
All right, so let me think about this now.
You do what you got to do.
You don't like Wemby, but he's in the argument. I mean, he was all NBA.
I can't pick Wemby after the finals, obviously.
Yeah, he just was too young to win. All right, Luka hasn't been named yet. LeBron hasn't been named yet. So you got a lot of top players.
Let me help you out with that. You know full well I'm not putting LeBron James as the best player in the league. Because he's not.
Well, I don't know about that.
There was a time when he was in that consideration. But he's not. He's not.
All right, so
take him off. All right. Wemby's off. That's correct. Luka doesn't play any defense. All right. So that's off. He also went to a finals and lost. So the only hint that I'm going to give you is you have to have a championship ring to be on the list. Now, those guys all have championships other than Edwards. But that's Giannis.
But Giannis has them.
Yeah.
Giannis has
SGA's got one. Joker's got one. Giannis has one. So the guy that's the best player in the league has to have at least one, if not multiple, NBA championships to be crowned best current player in the NBA.
Guy with a ring. A guy with a ring.
He's got a ring, yep.
And he's the best player in the league.
So I give you some choices, guys I considered. Jaylen Brown was a consideration.
He has a ring.
Jason Tatum was a consideration.
Quite good.
Okay. Obviously, Jaylen Brown's also a Finals MVP. And I'll give you a hint. My guy's a Finals MVP also.
So Jaylen Brown, number one. That's who you went with.
By the way, I'd have no argument with Jaylen Brown being in the
I would
conversation.
have a gigantic
I know you hate him, and he's got weird hair coloring that wipes off of people's jerseys.
All that stupid Beijing and hating his teammates.
Yeah.
He's not a good enough teammate to be number one.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell's never won a championship.
Oh, no, I got it.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard. Champion and was Finals MVP.
Yep.
Great defender still.
Yes.
Kawhi.
Made the shot to knock the Sixers out. Of course, that
I don't know
baseline
why
jumper.
that keeps coming up.
The greatest player in the NBA today, as we sit here today on June, 15th?
Steph Curry.
The day after Flag Day?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry got absolute consideration. Okay. Absolute consideration. It's Jalen Brunson.
What?
Jalen Brunson is the best player in the NBA today.
No, he's not.
Because as great as those other guys are, there's nobody in the league, including those three guys on the mountain next to him, that you want with the ball in their hands to make a big shot down by 10 seconds to go. And the refs can't help you. It's you against the world. I need a bucket from you. That means whoever's guarding you, whatever their size is, whatever their age is, the referees are not on the court. I need you to get me a bucket. The only guy on that list that will guarantee me the bucket and the win is Jalen Brunson. And to me, that's not the only metric, but that's a damn good metric to determine who you think the best player in the league is. He's got the nickname Captain Clutch for a reason. And when you drop 45 in Game 7 and you're taking everybody off the dribble, including the greatest defensive player we've probably ever seen when it's all said and done in the NBA, in Wemby, Jalen Brunson right now is the GOAT of the NBA, the king of the castle, on the mountain. The greatest player alive today.
Why are you doing this?
Is Jalen Arthur Aloysius Brunson.
Why are you doing this?
The third.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Congratulations to the Knicks.
Thank you.
Jalen Brunson is not the best player in all of basketball.
There's nobody else that you want on the court without the referees helping them out. SGA's we'll get into more until we got to take a break. You can react more after this, but I happen to be right.
Is there any digging out of this massive hole that the Red Sox have built themselves? And Adam, I'm not talking about playoffs here, I'm talking about just like a respectable 500 type season.
Yeah, this team is an absolute mess and should blow it up, should be sellers come the deadline, and anything that you've got of value, get rid of it and just try and remake this thing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't always do a great job of delivering it in the right way. I will admit that. But I think overall, when you're honest with people, they know they can trust you. That, I think the last thing you want to be is somebody who BS's people. And then they don't know if what you're saying is true, if you're manipulating them.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Craig Carton along with Tyrone Johnson. We got great news for you. CraigCartonShow.com. And Tyrone, what do you get if you go to that amazing website?
Well, right now you can subscribe to our upcoming newsletter. You put in your email address, and then bang, you'll get all the new Craig Carton Show content when it arrives.
Not just that, you also get merch drops, exclusive content, and appearances. So again, one more time, that website is CraigCartonShow.com.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
There's a bakery in Brooklyn called Strauss Bakery that made me a replica Larry O'Brien trophy cake.
Oh, that's great.
Now, it's edible, but it looks just like the trophy. So they delivered it this morning for me to premiere this afternoon, and someone else took the cake.
Wow.
What? That's so upsetting to me.
So
Because you wouldn't know it's a cake.
So they didn't put your name on it, or are you suggesting that they opened your mail? How did this happen to where they stole? Because if that's the case, I'm going to call for, I got to think of who to blame, Boomer Esiason to go to prison, because that's a federal offense.
I'm going to find out. I just texted my producer. The whole thing, they asked me if I would say yes to it. I did. Right. I've done business with that bakery in the past. I assume they're not bringing a second one.
Maybe they are.
Because now it's not my thing anymore.
It's not special.
What makes me special is everything that I do is unique. If I order a cake and you have the cake 5 hours before me, now I got no cake.
Now you got no cake.
And it's not just that. It's now not my thing. It's like, oh, that was already done 5 hours ago. Oh, come on.
Well, see,
that irks me to my core. When I have an idea, I set something up, and then somebody just takes it. Right, Ethan? 100%. How did you allow that to happen? Unbelievable. Man, why did you let that happen, Tyrone?
Listen, I'm not allowed in that building, so you can't be blaming me.
I was going to bring a cake in here tomorrow.
See, it would have been great. It would have been great. But, yeah, I'm not allowed in that building, so I can't be blamed. Okay?
I'm so upset now.
Bring the cake still, though.
No, I'm not bringing the cake now. The cake's dead to me now.
Right, but you don't have to show it. You can bring it. What if people want a slice of cake?
No, there'll be no cake.
See,
there'll be no cake for anybody.
And based on another conversation we had off the air, you really are against cake in all form.
No, I love cake.
No, you said somebody had too much cake. So I don't know. You're anti-cake.
I said somebody had too much cake?
Too much cakes.
Huh.
Earlier, off air. We can't say it.
Oh, is that right?
That's what you said. You said. The only thing I can say is it was a she.
Oh,
too much cake. Craig's anti-cake. I got proof. See, Craig is anti-cake.
Yeah, no, we can't say that.
Can't have cake. You don't like cake. He's anti-cake.
Oh, you're funny.
We do stuff over here. No.
She had way too much cake.
Now, real fast, right? Because of the Brunson thing, I do want to say that when you mentioned the Spurs choking earlier, I want to say this shows you, though, the NBA is the ultimate prove-it / pay your dues league of all of them, how it just repeats that you have to be a grown man. At the end of the day, what it came down to was Wemby, Castle, and Harper Jr., even though he's not junior, I call him Harper Jr., they were too young, and they weren't ready yet. And the NBA has been that way from the beginning of time. And when Magic won it young, it's because he literally had the league MVP and Norm Nixon and all those vets on his team. The NBA, you cannot cheat it. The only way to win an NBA title, you have to go through it. You look at those Knicks guys and all the places they've been, they're grown men, all of them. When it came down to it, the coach and those top players at the end of the day were children. Harper was spectacular, but his coach was too immature to figure out how to use him. Wemby, I think everything you said about Wemby's true, but to me, it doesn't come from a malicious place. He's an immature child at this point who has to grow up. Kind of like Shaq the first time in the playoffs. He got swept in 3. Then he got swept in the finals the next time he's in the playoffs when he was, quote, ahead of schedule. The NBA is the ultimate. You cannot cheat it. You have to grow up and go through it. That team has that Spurs team and that coach. I don't think he's an idiot. He coached like an idiot because he was overmatched, because he was immature. And the Knicks, both coach and players, a bunch of grown men.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that kind of, getting to a certain level and losing, and then using that, whether it's fuel or just the muscle memory, the mental memory of how to overcome that. Look, the Knicks didn't go to the NBA Finals last year, but they did lose in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Got a coach fired.
Yeah, so I think there's some truth to that.
Lost their boy DiVincenzo, who was a real friend. Though that group went through things.
Yeah.
Cat was a certain guy at Minnesota, gets traded. Like, they lived life. And they also fit, while they're physically maturing, they're also mentally maturing. And in the case of Castle got tired as the series went on. Not because he's out of shape, it's because he's never played 100 basketball games in a year before, because it's his second year in the league. Harper, still playing. Coach doesn't know how to use him. Wemby hadn't played more than 30 minutes a game the last 50-some regular season games because they're worried about getting hurt. And now he's tired in the fourth quarter because he doesn't play big minutes.
Yeah.
They did things immaturely. And the Knicks were the more mature team. Even at times, it didn't look like they were the better team when they're down 16.
Well, they're the more
29.
mature team. They're
more
grown men.
mature team.
And there's a championship pedigree that 3 of the guys have from previous places earlier, even in the college career and whatnot. And we say all the time, sometimes there's teams that need to learn how to win. Much like I made the point throughout this playoff run, the Knicks didn't know how to lose.
Right.
I've never seen that before. Whatever the deficit was, whoever's playing poorly, someone else stepped up, someone else made a big shot. There's a storyline that's interesting that will never be told, nor should it be told, as a matter of fact, and that is Karl Anthony Towns' performance in the finals.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns had 2 points in Game 5. Nobody cares.
Nope.
If that doesn't go the Knicks' way, if Jalen Brunson doesn't play hero ball late, obviously, and you go back to Game 4, OG's heroics in the tip-in, Karl Anthony Towns today is having a very bad day in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would go all the way back to hasn't played well in the entirety of the finals, has been in foul trouble a lot. Look, a lot of people thought that he might even be a favorite to an MVP
after the first two games.
But when you go look at Karl Anthony Towns,
he fell off a cliff.
Absolutely fell off a cliff, and that would have been the number one storyline that you cannot trust Karl Anthony Towns. Obviously, Jalen Brunson does what he does. OG has the 33 points in Game 4 as well, and now no one even remembers that Karl Anthony Towns came up very, very small in 3, 4, and 5.
Fouled out.
That's 3 straight games where you essentially got nothing out of Karl Anthony Towns, who is a dominant player for them here and there throughout the postseason, and obviously was a damn good player for them in Games 1 and 2 on the road. That story never gets written, but I guarantee you the guys that cover the Knicks had started writing it.
Had to.
Karl Anthony Towns disappeared in crunch time. Karl Anthony Towns a no-show in the Knicks' opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Can't trust Cat. Soft or dumb or, foul trouble. 2 points. Karl Anthony Towns, 2 points. And somehow, some way, they win the game. And what's crazy about it is that Jalen Brunson had 45 points.
Yep.
The rest of the team had 49.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
13 points in the first quarter and won the game. Because their defense was that good. And the Spurs did everything wrong you could do wrong in losing a championship. Well, I get to some other things from the weekend coming up right after this.
show. Great to have you here. Obviously, Knicks centric today, and we'll deal with the parade when it happens on Thursday. Anything else that comes out from the NBA. Did you happen to watch any USA soccer, any World Cup soccer, any of you guys?
I watched the whole game.
You did?
Team USA. I watched a couple, but all of Team USA on Friday.
So you like? Is that a USA soccer shirt, by the way?
That is a Team USA shirt.
There you go. So you bought into
Official.
soccer?
I'm all in.
Just USA? Like you watching?
I watch them all.
Ecuador and
I was
Brazil.
watching Brazil. I was watching all of them. Ivory Coast.
So you guys are my producers over there to the right.
He was at a game.
You went to a game in Philly. It was Ivory Coast. How does Ivory Coast field the team, by the way? You're telling me Ivory Coast gets in and Italy doesn't?
That's right.
Ivory Coast is like a country of 19 people.
Yeah, they beat France, who's like one of the favorites.
When did they beat France?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, not in the World Cup.
No. But a couple weeks ago,
they
have real guys.
To the World Cup?
Yes, they have real guys.
A friendly, I think they're call
good.
it.
And they have the soccer culture. Everybody plays it.
Man, if I was Italian, I'd be pissed. The Ivory Coast got in and we didn't get in?
Yeah, that's right.
What happened to the great country of Italy?
Curaçao's in, but they got all those.
Curaçao's a drink, not a country. Let's get it right.
That's blue Curaçao.
Oh, that's the capital of Curaçao. Blue.
No, that's the drink.
Blue. That's the capital
That's the
of
drink.
Curaçao. I have not watched 1 second yet. I've seen the highlights.
See, you call yourself a patriot.
I saw the dude Kane on England head the ball in for a winner.
Yeah, Harry Kane's a great player.
Like that, big header on a corner kick, just like that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Okay.
Just like that. It goes,
USA won 4-1 Friday.
What happened?
3-0 at the half.
Yeah, USA. You know, I'm friends with Claudio Reyna. His son is on the squad.
His son scored a goal.
But it's like a weird thing. Like, he's not a very likable kid.
Well, he's growing up, though.
And he was a pain in the ass last
he's growing up. He's growing up. And then when he scored his goal, he covered his ears. That's a big thing for him.
Oh.
He's a guy that listens to too many things.
Yeah, I get it.
So he covered
his
his ears.
pops was a great player.
No, he can play.
Yeah.
He's very skilled.
His dad used to coach the U.S. Olympic, like the development team.
Developmental team.
Because I had a couple of kids that in my program went to him and became pretty decent friends. I haven't talked to him in a long time with Claudio, but he was, arguably the best American-born player of all time, Claudio Reyna. I know his name doesn't sound American, but
no, he was a great player. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Pele's probably the greatest American player of all time.
No, he's not. He's not American.
He played for the New York Cosmos.
Right, but he's not American.
Yeah, Edwin Nasciata Momentos.
Yeah, that's not.
I played with Pele way back in the day.
Yeah, but no, that's not. That's not. He's not American.
I don't talk about it much, but
sure, I've never heard that.
Pele taught me the bicycle kick. 1978, Pele summer soccer camp. Taught me how to do a bicycle kick. True story, by the way. I can't do it now.
Why?
Try to do it now. Because look at me. Does it look like I can do it now?
No.
I can't do it
but
now.
It doesn't look like you could do it at 78.
No, back then. I
look like you could do it at 78 either.
I had the goods.
I
had the goods.
We have a soccer ball.
You do with this weed in it. There's a brand of weed called Jeter.
Yeah.
Jeeter.
I like it.
I think the top selling pre-roll in America right now. And they must have done a World Cup deal where you can buy. Can I see it, the ball? So it's cost $75. You have to go to the right dispensary.
Yeah. They don't have it at the one right around the corner here?
They do not.
You got to go deeper into the city.
All right. So this is a Jeter World Cup 26 ball. All right. By the way, there's 12 different versions of this. Not just this one. This is $75. So when you open it, there are 6 pre-rolls inside.
6 pre-rolls?
6 pre-rolls inside.
I don't mind that.
Yeah. But the trick is, how do you open it? And when you open it, it becomes a stadium.
Oh, that's great.
Look at that.
Slash could be an ashtray.
Yes, even after you smoke all 6 pre-rolls, you now have like a place to put your weed.
Yeah.
And you have an ashtray.
Yeah, on that end.
If you want to ash into it.
Yeah, that's it.
And you've got like a little mini stadium here.
I like it.
I think this is genius, by the way.
It is.
Because you can hide it from the popo. No, that's just a soccer ball, officer. That don't smell like a soccer ball.
USA, yeah. See, that's U.S. ingenuity right there.
Yeah, and by the way, congratulations, I should mention, because we're all big fans here, to the Carolina Hurricanes, who went into Vegas in Game 6 yesterday and won the Stanley Cup against the Golden Knights.
Yep.
And that's Rod Brind'Amour, former Flyer, of course.
Yep.
He's the guy that punched Eric Lindros in the face for sleeping with a teammate's wife
Wow.
if I remember correctly.
He's such a nice guy. Literally.
Yeah.
He is
Well,
nice.
that was an allegation. I can't prove that. And then, of course, yesterday was what I thought one of the coolest events I've ever seen on television. UFC celebrating America's 250th birthday and President Trump's 80th.
Yeah,
And I got to tell you this. I watched every fight last night. It was a little delayed because of the rain.
A lot of knockouts.
I have some family members that were there as well. Great action, great knockouts. The final fight was awesome. I've never seen a guy with a literally broken face where there was a bone sticking out of his face. So they had to actually quit going into the 5th round. Absolute warriors. But I want to say, not only congratulations to my Knicks for winning the championship, congratulations to America. You pulled off an amazing event at the White House, the likes of which we will never see again. Proud to be an American, where I know the Knicks are champs.